Thank you. Before I start on this week's discussion, I would like to bring up what we talked about last time.
Oh, Max had it.
He's fast. He's quick.
He's faster than I am.
Last time I told everybody that Marcy Bowers is coming to the Twin Cities, and I said the date was September 23rd. I was right. We also posted this information on our website. It's from 3 to 5. RSVP is appreciated to Ethan, and the information's on here. Also, questions and answers will be done. So I'm not sure what exactly is gonna happen, but anyone who has or wants to meet a surgeon and has questions, this would be the time to sign up and go. If you're going to her or not, this is a really good.
She wants the
Welcome.
paper.
Are you gonna pass
It's
that
right
around
here.
Diane, so we can all
Yes,
look at it?
I will.
You want that?
So,
I
Let's
want
go
that.
this way around.
So all y'all, pay attention, children. This is an important part of our group because it's a piece of paper with information on it. So I encourage all of you, especially those of you who come here all the time, which is pretty much all of you, to like bring things like this. This is one of the things that Diane does so well for this group, is always be looking at things like this that have to do with our community, have to do with transition and things like that. So thank you so much for bringing this in. This means a lot to me. This may not interest all of you, but maybe the next piece of paper will interest you if this one doesn't. So, like, please, as you come across things like this, print it off, bring it in. I don't have a lot of free time, so I don't get to nearly as much of this as I would like to, which is why I thank God for Diane every day. And so, feel free to share these kinds of things. I really appreciate it.
And she does surgeries in both directions.
Oh, good, because I tried to find that out and I didn't get a whole lot of time
She
to
does?
do that.
Yeah.
So, if she gives surgery in both directions,
Then Transmails might be interested in.
Yeah.
I think
stuff.
then it would be highly, you really probably
Max
should
well.
at least sign up to know if this is the where you wanna go. And again, doesn't mean you have to go to have the surgeries, but if you need to find information, this is the time.
Wait, where's it at?
The University of Minnesota,
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Hate that place.
I have met this
That's
lady.
my buddy.
She works out of San Francisco and she's super awesome. Not as awesome as I am, but she's pretty close.
Well,
It's also-
So
it's awesome.
I really like her, and I will be going to her for my surgery
I
as
did
soon as they
go-
get done billing my insurance.
I did go to Dr. Schreckler from Chicago, and that was really informational. They told both male and female, exactly how the procedure goes. They also did recovery for both, what to expect, what to bring, what you'll need to know. So Scheckler was very in-depth, and I also heard the reason she's here is she was a U of M medical grad, and so they're gonna honor her the day before on Thursday. So I did find that out. So that's why she's here. I tried to get more information because there is also another meeting on Saturday, and hopefully she's for that one, but I'm not sure, the HRC convention, but I didn't get anything.
Did you RSVP to that, or do you know
Yes.
anybody in this room that has?
I have.
Or has anybody in here?
It took me,
Okay.
I did it at home, I just went on my email, or, just what it says here, Ethan14 at U.
And that, of course, is posted on the
ED.
Facebook page too, guys, by the way.
And-
So this information is exactly like that.
It was within, I would say 3 minutes, and it was like at 9 o'clock at night. You're signed up.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not.
And they want to know how many people, cause last time they had stuff to eat for everybody, and they had more than the people that showed up. So, by quite a bit, and so people got to really eat, but they have food and drink, and that's why they want people to know more than the seating arrangements, but they also need to know how big of an auditorium they need or place they need. So, that being said, congratulations, Max. I saw some news the other day.
you wanna talk about that quick, Max, before we
Oh my
start?
gosh,
Do it.
okay.
Then you'll be participating in the meeting.
Okay, I got my name and gender marker legally changed, even though the judge was a hot nugget, but okay.
You couldn't have been
He
too
wasn't
bad.
that bad.
You got through it, right?
Yeah.
You
through
got,
it.
you got what you wanted, right?
It went really.
You wanted what you needed.
And then
Right.
I had my endo appointment right after that,
First one?
second, I think.
Good.
It didn't go as well as I thought it was gonna go. Thought she was gonna give me testosterone because that's the way it was looking before, and I did everything she asked me to do.
And then you grew half an inch.
Yeah, for the first time in my life, I actually grew. And so I have to go look at my growth plates, and if I'm still growing, they put me on hormone blockers for a year, and then I'm going to cry. But if I'm done growing, then they give me testosterone.
So.
Still accepting the right direction.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So they want you to be finished growing before you take testosterone.
Because.
Otherwise, it will crush my intestines.
It can crush your.
Because my intestines will grow, but my body won't.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
I did
there's.
not know that.
So mom called the U yesterday when we were in the car leaving.
9 months.
9
old.
months, and you have to start everything over. The testing, everything. None of his therapy will transfer over. Information from various won't transfer. Nothing will transfer.
Why?
That's how they do it. They start you from scratch, no
Because
matter
they
how far
want,
you are.
they want you to be their test monkey so they can add to their research. That's why I
But
don't like them.
They gave us 3 other places that we can contact. So Family Tree is in St. Paul, and that's one to look into. And then HCMC has a gender studies for pediatrics, and the other one was children's attached to Abbott that has that
Attached to what?
Abbott Northwestern.
Abbott.
Yep,
Okay.
so, Family Tree is the first call, it's a smaller clinic, so hopefully less wait, and then we'll go from there.
I've heard that there is a wait there. I don't know how long it is though.
From what Farias was saying, it doesn't sound like it's as long.
Okay.
She was guessing
I'm
maybe
pretty sure
a
it's
month.
3 months.
Maybe, she was
That's
guessing.
what David was saying.
Oh. She was guessing about month and a half.
Okay.
For there, but there's gonna be a wait regardless probably, but 9 months and starting over is not an option, not for him,
Mm.
so.
I had it since 13. That was awkward, I'm sorry.
But
I didn't really-
yesterday was still a win, and fantastic. Maxwell.
And I gotta make
I'm
work.
so hyper.
I have one other question. Do we have somebody online this week?
No, not this time.
Okay.
It's
She
just
might
video.
call in. So yeah, this is just taping it.
Just
So,
in case?
Yeah, so I just gave her my phone number for here so I can we could just do it that way.
Okay.
So she won't be able to see it if she does that, but
Anyway.
What's 32 plus 32?
54 what?
I've had 64 ounces of Mountain Dew.
so you might need
This-
you might need a break or two.
Okay.
So Max, what contributed to the twat nuggetness of the judge?
Because he kept using my birth name and calling me she, and I live, we're kind of redneck down there.
Mhm.
My judge did the same. And then all of a sudden, she says, Diane. And she paused, did you just hear what I just said? And I said, yeah, you said Diane. I'm the first person legally to use your name.
Aww. It was a little different out in Sherburne County because it was the first gender and name change for a minor, and I don't think this judge had ever gone through it in general. So it was a little rough. It was hard, I think, for everybody there to hear over and over. And
It made
was-
Brianna misgender me. Just
And
gonna
me
put
too.
that out there.
That and the personal questions, I don't know if you had any, but I did.
Oh, yeah.
There were some personal questions.
Clear the courtroom.
No, actually, we had closed session, which was actually kind of cool.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think it made Max feel a little
Wait,
more
when
comfortable.
did we get a closed session?
It just happened. We weren't supposed to have closed session, and then they called us in. Maybe because it was a minor. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
But
made
It
me
was-
feel weird all of a sudden. For this case, I'd like everybody to leave the courtroom. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, they called us in separately, which was fine.
And I think as a legality, I think they have to use your dead name for a bit because
Yes, because of the,
court record.
transcribers.
Mhm.
Yeah, but when we were done, he said, "Have a nice day, Abigail." And I was like,
That was the
Didn't you
crappy
just-
part.
Didn't you just like change that
That's
or
not
like?
necessarily true, because when I had mine, I never, ever used my wrong gender, nor did they use my.
Oh.
I looked that up and he did not have to. Actually.
Perhaps, maybe in the beginning he had to, just to get all the information, but.
It said that you had to do it to know who they were talking about at first, and then you would be like, Abigail is now Maxwell, and then you can go on to see that.
One important thing to know, when you get your copies, you know, they'll be, I don't know if you waited long to get them or if they'll send.
No, he's gonna send them.
Okay. Do not remove the staple, or anyone remove the staple. If you do, it's no longer valid.
Okay, we have to tell your mom not to remove the staple.
Even if you're
Like-
copying it, even if you're,
You fold it over.
you know, just, you can turn it over, just reminder, just do not remove the staple. Good to know.
Mine's been removed, and as long as you can find the holes that it came from, you're just fine.
Yeah, I did the same
If you
thing.
rip the paper or whatever, then that could be a problem, but I don't think you people want to be.
We'll just fold it in your cups.
I hated it when they destroyed my passport. Not a renewal, but because it was scuffed on the top, they said that was damage, and so, yeah, lost all
Didn't you
those
go to
stamps I
Paris?
got, but, yeah, I've been to, been to Paris, Amsterdam, Venice,
That's a hard
Brisbane,
life.
Sydney, Auckland, yeah, it's rough.
How many countries?
And I connected through Switzerland.
Wow,
So
didn't know it was gonna be that
so,
many.
yeah, seven.
They didn't let you
yeah.
keep it because I mean when I've gotten
Yeah.
new passports, they punch a hole and send it back with a new one if you ask for it.
I went, yeah, I don't know if I just backed myself into a corner by walking into an office and, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, having somebody say, well, according to, I don't know, statute X, you're
Mhm.
lying on or whatever, no, can't let you have it back. I think I would have been better off, mailing it in, have the whole punch through it.
But I'm less concerned about keeping mine now because they all have my old name on it. Strange pictures on them.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, it seems like a lot of passports they just scan as you go through and they don't even stamp it these days most of the time.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's so cool by the
Bastards.
Yeah.
Right? You can brag.
Oh,
But yeah. So Max never has to deal with that.
No.
The weirdness of being a passport.
No.
Well, I'm moving to the UK.
Okay. Well,
For sure.
They're worse there. About turning stuff.
we're talking a goofy accent.
No, I'm shy.
Weirdo.
And they
Okay.
talk about biscuits and then they don't mean the ones with
They
gravy.
eat fish and chips all the time. Wait, so that's awesome. Everyone.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna drop
bad
that.
gun.
Let's get back.
Yeah, what's their
on
topic?
Stress of coming out.
Mm.
Last time we discussed people not understanding, loss of family, friends, relationships, old and new, spouses, children, finding a person to date, when to tell them, and the other one was when to tell them your transition. The bathroom issue, feeling like you don't belong, that you're a misfit. So that's pretty much where we left off. So I'm gonna continue from that. If you wanna have any of the discussion, it is online, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's posted.
Mhm.
Okay, so anyone wants to review that, they may.
And just so everyone knows, I am recording this one. I don't think I'm going to vary the camera angle like I did, but this is being recorded, and then I've generally been putting these onto YouTube. So if anyone has any concerns about any of this going out, just let me know, and we can either edit it or not put it out.
So you'll be fine.
Is there anyone
Shall we
here
out?
who's not out like me?
What?
I didn't record the names, and they can't see you.
Okay, well, good.
So only if you want to identify yourself, They won't know who you are. So just don't walk behind Diane.
I'm Max. Hello, Internet.
There.
Not
Hello,
lying.
random watchers.
Anyway, so that's where we were. I'm gonna continue our changes. One of them is some of the stress is the physical changes that we experience. You know, for me, yes, any pain or anything associated with that, or any interesting feelings with that? No, not at all.
With what?
I said I had boots now.
The physical changes to me were interesting as far as I could feel when my face started changing, like getting really with the puffier cheeks. I could feel them growing. The pain of my thighs coming out a little bit, the tingling of when the breast started to grow. Other things like the breast getting in the way that you never expected. You went to shut a car door and it was a little closer than I thought. And it just cleanses the nipple and it's like, oh, that just sent it through the roof. Yeah.
Amy.
So somebody else has experienced that.
Shutting your boob in the car door, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've also experienced that. I was at the airport and I was running really fast, getting the luggage out, and telling my kids goodbye, and I went to shut the tailgate and I went and caught the corner right, and it doubled me over, and it was very, very painful. And my kids all thought, and my wife thought I was putting on more of a scene until I got back in the car and I started driving away, and my wife goes, "It wasn't really that bad?" And I went, "You tell me," and it's all bleeding
Oh.
because it was cut wide open. So I went, about a month later, I went to my doctor because I had a normal physical scheduled, and my doctor goes, "What are you doing? You're just getting them and you're already trying to cut them off?" It wasn't fun. I still have the scar today.
Oh
so.
my gosh.
Yeah, it wasn't joyful at all. So, that was some of my physical changes that I've known. Some of the mental changes I've noticed, I think different. I'm getting used to it now where I can't tell the difference anymore, but when I first started on estrogen, I believe I got to the same answer, but the way my mind was processing it was different. More feeling involved, more caring involved, which I thought was also interesting. And of course, going up and down emotionally, some of that was really good. You know, like crying in bed for no reason at all. My wife goes, "Are you okay?" "Yeah." "What's wrong?" "Nothing." "Is it a good cry?" "Yes." "Okay, you just keep crying." And she went to sleep, so I cried and then went to sleep, and I was happy as all get out. So, some of the changes, both physically and mentally, are very real. Doesn't mean you don't like them, but it is another stress point where for some reason your emotions break down and or the feeling of you changing and developing. So,
Does anybody have any physical changes since they started transitioning that they haven't liked or that has caused them stress? Yes.
I do have an itch.
Don't you want to be taller?
Because
Later,
that's
you
what
want to be
stopped me
taller.
from using testosterone. As I grew half an inch, a whole half.
4.5 months.
So they want you to be done growing before you, I mean,
You have
completely
to
done?
Because he's a minor. And he's under 15, even though he turns 15 in 2 weeks.
Oh.
He has to be done growing before they'll start him.
Huh.
Wait, can I actually talk about that for 2 seconds?
Yeah, for sure. As many seconds as you would like.
I'm having a party for my birthday and the name and gender change, and everyone at group is allowed to come.
we're invited.
Yeah.
Allowed or
Morning, I
invited?
will have a penis cake. It's happening.
Penis cake.
Right. It'll be sometime in October. We'll get info.
September, question. We'll be there.
October.
It'll be October.
October?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
If there's anything you need me to bring or do, let me know.
We'll let everyone know. Are onesies mandatory now?
Yes, actually. I'm gonna have a dragon one.
It's a onesie party.
So what-
I like the
Like a-
onesies
like
that
an
you
adult
wear that
onesie.
that have the cute little animals.
Okay. I might be able to do enough to put something like that on.
I can use a one.
You have to get it for someone.
Nope, I'm onesie.
No, you're not. That
Okay,
looks trashy.
back to group.
Anybody else? Any physical changes that they didn't like?
Well, before it came out to everyone, people started noticing some of the changes that were happening, and no one actually talked to me about it. But I knew that some people were going to be able to know that they're happening. So I had lost some weight at about the same time, and so my face got really thin, and then started changing. So I started getting trans face, and nobody knew what that looks like because most people haven't been around somebody who's gone through this. So a lot of people actually thought I was mortally ill. So a lot of people said that, yeah, we just thought you were dying. So I guess it was kind of a relief to find out that I wasn't actually
You're not-
dying.
You're not the only one.
Oh, you had the same thing?
I lost so much weight that, my daughters thought that I had cancer. Same with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Before or after homework?
As I started, just as I was.
And you're before you started homework?
I was losing weight before, which didn't concern people. I think it was that one, I kept losing weight and then got down to fairly thin, and then that plus the facial changes is what made people think something was happening. And
Make sure she's eating. Yeah.
Well, I would say for me, I didn't gain weight, my weight stayed exactly the same, but it's this area that expanded in. And I would say for my biggest disappointment is kind of the expansion around the middle. It just was expanded. I don't know. I know when I talked to Doc about it, welcome woman.
Now, are you talking like rib cage expansion or like stomach expansion? Or
Like
stomach and hips?
lower.
Okay.
Like
Like
right
hips.
through
Right around the
there.
waistline.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even I gained weight there.
Mhm.
You know, I mean,
It took a
expanded,
while.
but I didn't, my weight didn't change. My weight has never changed, I'm still,
It's just kind of shifting to different parts of the
Yeah.
body.
That's interesting.
It is interesting because actually they tell you when you go on estrogen that it's likely that you will gain weight. Very likely, and yet pretty much everyone in here who's on this or estrogen has not really had weight gain. I have, but only in the last 3 months have I gained weight, any substantial weight. So pretty much stayed the same for almost 4 years, 3.5 years, before it started going up, and then it went right here and here. And I like it here, I don't like it here. So that's the one thing I don't
Just
like.
know when
So
you lose it, it
just
tends to be
imagine
here
that
first.
so.
Yeah,
Huh?
that
That's,
does.
at least for cisgender, yeah, when you lose the weight, the chest is the first place it goes.
Now, get
Like,
this,
unfortunately.
I started losing weight 2 years ago, my chest got bigger.
Really?
My thighs got smaller, but my boobs got
I
bigger.
didn't want the biceps.
But
I
now,
want the
this
thighs.
last round of losing weight,
Sad.
I went down 2 cup size, which I was ecstatic about.
And it
I
is
was-
different for everybody, but I
Right.
know in general that is sort of a common thing,
Mhm.
is that you lose a lot of your chest.
Yep.
And almost easier than your tummy,
Yep.
which is the opposite of what I want to happen if I do lose. If I do lose the weight, and if I don't, that's fine too. I'm at a healthy weight now, and I was a little on the thin side before, so not a big deal. But it's one of those things that, once again, that you need to deal with. I know a couple of Macs, a couple of trans males, and both of them lost weight when they started testosterone, which is normal.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's normal. Losing weight with testosterone is very normal.
but also.
Changes your metabolism, changes your
Gaining-
adrenaline, how your adrenaline works.
Gaining muscle mass is very frequently is a problem with testosterone also. Like hulking out.
Mhm.
Not just psychologically either.
Yeah, no, one of my friends, he was like a bit overweight, but not much. And then he started testosterone, and now he lost a ton of weight, but he's super bulky.
Yep. It's really easy, I guess, to put on the muscle.
Yeah, so, just a heads up.
I would say another thing that I ran into, and I actually had to research it because nobody said anything about it, was that after I was on Spiro for year work, is that if you by chance start to get like an erection, it is unbelievably painful. I don't know if anybody else has ran into that, but
Here.
oh my god, that was painful.
Why?
It's because of all the shrinking of everything down there.
Change it.
Never mind. Do not want to know.
That's
Sorry,
why you
I
asked.
said that much.
Yeah.
But I guess that does kind of make sense. You're taking away or blocking testosterone
Mhm.
with the Spiro,
It
right?
adjusts over time though, I mean, I've been,
Yeah.
Spiro for 4 years now, and there's no pain.
Yeah.
But at first, it
In
was.
the initial.
It was pretty painful.
Mhm.
See, and I thought it was weird because nobody ever said that. Nobody brought up that subject ever, anywhere.
No one ever wants to have to discuss
It
it.
was painful, no one wanted to talk about it.
I would have liked to have the warning. I
That would have been a good
was like, holy crap, what is going on?
Well, this conversation went right into the next one, it's physical pain and mental stress from medical procedures. But, you know, some of that is also like, my libido went down. I mean, I was a person that needed attention constantly, and now it's like, okay, hardly at all. It's starting to make a slow comeback, but nowhere near what I was. When I had that, like, when I first started, no interest at all. My life was fine with that. But for me, it's like, well, it just changed me both mentally, you know, that I didn't care, and like you said, physically, for a while, it was hard, because you would get an erection that would hurt, and it wouldn't last. I'm like, okay. But some of the other pain is, especially for us women, going through the electrology, and laser, playing on the table for a couple hours, and having somebody put a probe in you, tapping you, and then pulling
Hi.
out the follicle.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Sorry, I'm just getting Lisa on the phone. She's the one who called in last time.
Hi, Lisa. Welcome.
Hi.
I will say though, that I he'll be really something better. I'm not
Hello.
But at
Same
first,
spot.
did it change?
But at first I had to go down to almost zero.
So kind
So
of-
it comes back. But for most people, they say, and it did for me. But anyway,
But as far as some of the other things, you know, now I'm starting electrology, done because I need it done for surgery, and that was a really wake up area. At least the first one. So, and then she also did some. I thought the pain was probably a little more intense, but it only lasts a second. Where electrology, it lasts a long time. And the swelling afterwards, the puffy lip afterwards, and the puffy face afterwards, which also then leads into, I guess my next area would be financial. And you're talking a couple hour session at, I think it was like a 120, 3 hours is 170, and laser is quicker, but it's just about as expensive. And then, of course, everybody knows the medication is cheap. Everyone also knows that, or I think knows that normally before you start any of this, you see somebody, therapist, going through some of that, so the bills and the doctors are expensive. So there's really a cost for what we do and how we're doing it. And of course, that's stress on the checkbook, which brings stress to all of those you gotta pay, which brings stress to, should I get another job, should I get another job, what do I need to do? I don't know, did anyone else have that issue?
Well, there's obviously, I mean, especially because I spent an absolute shit ton on electrolysis, that
How much was that again?
I spent somewhere north of $20,000 on it, and I have been working on getting it reimbursed, and I've gotten quite a bit of it reimbursed through insurance. But even that took a lot of work, and you know, because where I work, we're self-insured, so we go through Blue Cross, but they just process stuff. It's actually Land O'Lakes that pays bills, and Land O'Lakes wants to pay these bills. That's what they had asked for in the contract, and they got that. But then when I send the bills to Blue Cross, they don't like to pay them. And they, for whatever reason that is. So I think over the last few weeks, I've spent probably 40 hours on trying to track some of the claims. So even though that's not that much of a financial burden in that I'm getting reimbursed, I still had to float about $30,000. And then still spend a lot of time trying to get that reimbursed.
And we all know time is money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's nice to know, because the perception out there is you can't get reimbursed for that because it's cosmetic.
Right. And sometimes, I mean, it's a little unclear for some of the requirements that have come along for insurance to cover transgender health, what really that entails. A lot of times companies are trying to stay closer to the line of just the things that people really know about, like surgeries. In order to try to qualify for getting the HRCs being put on their CEI, the Corporate Equality Index, you're supposed to have that covered in your health insurance, and that is supposed to, there's 7 categories of medically necessary surgeries, and that includes facial hair removal. So in those cases, it really almost has to be covered. And in my case, the company wanted to cover it, and it was still difficult to go through. But it depends a lot on your insurance and who's supplying it, and whether it's a public one or one that's a privately insured, or whether it's through one of the exchanges or what state you live in. All those can have an influence, and it's not easy even when the person paying the bills wants to pay them. It's still not easy.
Okay. That's good, because I have Blue Cross. It's sort of like the speech therapy
Mm-hmm.
that we went through.
Yeah.
Part of that was, it says right in there that no, it won't be covered in the book, but since they think it's for what you medically need, and it's, you were referred by the doctor to go, then they cover it.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked under, instead of voice, it goes under speech, and then under speech, okay. So it's kind of like, they're starting to do more by what the individual instead of the group.
Well, and so basically what it comes down to is it may be worth the stress of going through a little work right now and seeing what your insurance will cover, things like that, talking to other people, coming to groups like this, blah, 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 versus the financial burden later of paying all of it out of your pocket and just assuming that that's the way life is.
The other thing is, remember with insurance, and everything is becoming more and more new, a lot of the stuff that's written in the books doesn't necessarily apply today, and doesn't mean 3, 4, or 5 months from now, or 6 months from now, or a year from now, it won't change. I know it's a hassle to continue to look at that, but like Mindful One, they said they absolutely won't cover anything in transgender, but yet they've covered everything. So obviously they cover it. So that's another thing to keep in mind that you might need to pursue. And the big thing there I'm finding is if I have a referral. And normally whoever is giving you you know, whatever you need to change, they will be the ones that would be the ones that refer you. So,
I was gonna say too, hair removal, from what I understand, that may be covered here pretty soon, because I think Pat was changing a little bit on the wording of it. So, I'm trying to force insurance companies to pay for it.
Well, it's supposedly still already in there. It's just a matter of how many people are following that.
Well, it was the way it was worded, was actually a person from our group that actually contacted them and got them to reword it.
Oh, really? Is that Rachel?
Yeah. Yeah, and she actually got a reply back, they have reworded it, and they are making it so now it's saying it's a necessity for gender change.
Wow.
So now it's the fight between the insurance companies, if they're gonna accept it or not.
Mhm.
But it looks like they're
at
kind of
least when it was
forced to.
talked about, or before it was a flat out no. So now they're starting to accept some of the insurance, which also helps with the financial. This is where Max, you have it a lot easier. You don't want a ton of hair removed. You know, that'll help a lot.
Just,
The
just
same with
give it
Eli.
to me. Fine, let's go.
Huh?
Adoption super glue. Yeah.
But of course, you know, we still have the doctor bills, which, again, they pick up, I'm sorry for my phone, they pick up a portion of that, but not all of it. We still have a big copay. At least I do.
The other, that too, you know, especially when you start hormones on, there's actually extra tests that you have to have done, which you might not normally have. So that starts adding up too.
Nicholas, you seen this paint?
No, I,
It's process around that.
I would highly recommend anyone in this room or everyone in this room to go. And just, if nothing else, to listen. And if you have any questions you can think about, write them down. And if you got somebody who's very, very well known around the world, and she would be the one to answer them. If she can't answer them right then and there, she'll get back to you. So. Anyone else have anything on the financial?
I just worry about losing my job. I'm happy that my job's going well, but working in an industry where companies merge and get acquired all the time, I don't know what things are going to look like 3 or 4 years from now. And what if there is this sort of in between phase, 3 months, 6 months, a year, looking for another job, but then there's just that much I'll have to pay for out of pocket or out of savings. I just have this tightrope walking feeling inside, knowing that things are going well so far, but for reasons beyond my control, I might end up not going so well.
And that's not that uncommon because I think there's a lot of people who have fears about being able to keep their jobs. And I mean, I worried about that, and it turns out I had really nothing to worry about, but I still worried about it before because you don't know that until you actually try it. You don't know how people are going to react. And so there's the idea that I'm going to do this stuff, I'm going to be starting this, then I'm going to try to transition at work, and then all of a sudden my income is going to get cut off, or I'm going to have to start looking for another job while I'm transitioning. And all of that is fairly stressful, and it's probably stressful for most people just not knowing how well it's going to go, unless they work at a company that has had several people do it before you, and you can feel confident in it that way.
And again, the plant moving. We moved from Plymouth to Brooklyn Park, but we've been hiring people for the warehouse or the manufacturing yard. But they're all foreigners, mainly Mexican, including the upper management. And of course, they just bought, or they had a big plant down there, and they've been building more and more and more, and we keep losing more and more down there. So I keep wondering, okay, are they gonna, now that we're finally to the big machines, are they up here just learning the process, and then eventually not gonna have us, and we'll get enough machines done before they do the end of the month. So yeah, it's, the financial burden is always there. I guess it's always gonna be there. Which, all these things that we've discussed before leads into something else that's, I know I've gone through emotional roller coasters and stuff with people around me and my kids, dealing with some of that today. Second guessing yourself. Did I make the right move? Am I doing the right thing? Inside, personally, I feel like it's the right thing. But for those who are around me, my wife, my kids, my wife losing all her friends basically, and I'm losing a lot, but I gained some. Jamie and Brianna, you guys have been just wonderful, so I made some new friends, and it's wonderful that I have somebody I can talk to all the time. That I'm allowed to just call and sit down and talk or text or just feel comfortable around. That's why these groups also are really, really important. That being said, after 37 years of being married, it's really hard because my wife has no desire to be intimate with me one way or another. I keep saying that my dog gets more attention than I do, and I think it's right. I get out of my bed, dog jumps in, the first thing she does is start petting. I never got a pet at night. You want to rub my hair, or you want to, you know? But that being said, it's still very stressful. And when I start to approach anything towards that, then my wife feels like she's being pressured, which pisses her off. So there's a constant, which one's going to get in first, or who's going to, you know, am I going to move out, or are we just going to separate, or how's this going to happen? Most of the time, people do not stay married. No matter how hard they tried, most of the time it doesn't work. As far as my kids, I have one kid that kind of accepting me because she lives with me and she sees me every day, so it's becoming more and more easier for her. She actually went out on her way this week because she's going to yoga tonight. And she actually asked for my opinion on some things on a dress. How does it look? Do I have the right shoes? What do you think of this versus that for jewelry, which was huge for me because normally I wasn't able to talk at all. So as far as, I always wonder, should I have not? Should I have not come out? I think we'll always second guess ourselves somewhat. You know, you always, I think most of us will always have that little doubt in your mind. I don't think it'll ever go away where people will say. But you can always wonder what if. But, you know, I like Brandon's comment. If I were to say who I am, I won't be here today. I don't know what I would have done. But, so I think the decision of what you do, you gotta later keep looking inside. And even on the way here, it was very hurtful because I had a discussion with my wife before I left. Before I got here, I texted my wife and said that I'm doing okay. When I left, I went. And I thought of it the whole time down here, I knew what I was getting into. And I still think it's the right move because I still feel good about myself. And the bottom line is, you still have to do, I think, myself, what makes you feel good inside about yourself. And that's really hard because sometimes you think, well, if I wouldn't have changed, more people would be happy. But the thing is, you're the one inside that needs to do that. Even though I think I have more at stake than a lot of people, but, you know, everyone's different, so you don't know. So was my decision right? I think so. Let's go. Anyone else have anything to add on that?
I think about it. But,
So you go first.
Okay.
I demand it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, here I was. Yeah. Non-strikers and behind the trees. Yeah, I think about it all the time. I ask myself, like, could I have carried on just being, the dad and a family living all under the same roof, being what my daughter had hoped I would be, even though she isn't against me the way I am now. I know that she does miss having dad around. Could I have gone on that way? Well, yeah, if I wanted to be a guest in my own life, which is what things would have come down to, or I would have played the role. I would have, kept, going, from church to church and joining men's groups and feel comfortable making friends, there just for the sake of everything looking okay on the outside. The only way I would have been able to deal with that would be to detach from him. Would have been to detach myself from just everything having to do with me, and I don't think that's a way to live. So here I am. Sure, it would be easier to not dealing with a separation and pain for two households, which I gladly am willing to do. As my ex prepares to re-enter the workforce, and knowing that stability for my kids, it's just a much better thing than worrying where they're going to live, from month to month, and still the burden of paying for two households right now gives me pause and makes me think, well, could I have carried on, just living life the way it was before? And I tell myself, well, no, I couldn't have done that. I'm sure the colors and layers of that internal monologue are going to change over time, but it rages pretty loudly right now in the ways that I just described. So.
I've had a little bit of that post-doubt. I didn't any while I was transitioning. It was only essentially afterwards where things felt stable again. And I looked back and thought, well, things felt stable before. And I thought, wait a minute, what's really changed? And was it worth it? Was it worth all that went into this? And because it almost get this sense of lull, and the lull between the two, on either side of the transition itself, feels similar in some ways. And so that's when I started to question, what's really different? Are things that much better now? And there's also some separation too, because having transitioned at work a year and a half ago or so, that now it's that time added to it. It's what I was like back then was really seems more of a distant memory, but then I have to remind myself of how much happier that I seem, and this is something that other people have said to me more than I've noticed myself. That's one of them. I really got a sense of how bad things were before I started doing anything, when I ran out of hormones, and then got to feel what I had felt for 40-some years before I went on to hormones, and it was terrible. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I knew what it was like to have that be better. And I still didn't know what it was like until I actually got a chance to go back to it. So it's something that a few times I've had to remind myself of what the benefits really are, because it's easy to, once you're away from something bad, it's easy to forget about some of the details of the bad situation.
So I have a little story. Liz already heard it, so you can go to the bathroom wherever you need to go. I was just telling Liz when I started today, I had a very interesting post-transition stressor this week. I as most of you know, I don't get along with my family particularly well. And they live up in Little Falls, and they have a little hobby farm up there. And my mom's side of the family had a 120-acre farm right on the Mississippi River as well. And they have passed on, of course, but they left it to the family, to mom and her sisters and brother. And everybody kind of had their own lives and was getting older and such, and so it became difficult for the family to maintain that 120-acre plot of land up there with the big farmhouse and all that other stuff. So they made the decision to sell. And I didn't inquire as to what it was worth or what they were looking at getting or when it would happen or any of that baloney. But my sister one day was kind enough to text me and say, FYI, they're getting ready to sell the farm. So this week I go and I grab the mail, as I do every day, and there was a letter in there one day from my parents, and it was a check for some money. And there's a little note on the check saying, from the farm sale. And it was written out to my boyfriend. I've never told my parents that I changed my name legally. Of course, probably pretty easy to assume that I would have and did, but nevertheless, they made it out to my birth name instead of my legal name. So I was in a conundrum. Do I go to the bank to cash this, or do I send it back to my parents and say, no thank you, that's not my name? Or do I send it back to my parents and say, can you write it in the correct name? Which I already know they would not have done. And, or do nothing and not cash it. Keep it forever and do nothing. Say, well, I don't have money. But not have that money, because I never expected to get anything anyway. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the bank and just see what they have to say. It's not going to hurt. All I can do is say, no, you idiot. Of course, it's not your name anymore. We're not going to cash it. But they didn't. So what they did do is say, you have a court document that states your name change. And I said, yeah, it's in the lockbox in the other room. Sure enough, all I had to do was show them that and they cashed the check. On the back of the check, I had to sign my name, my real name, my legal name, and then I had to say, it's not formally known as, but it's something,
AKA.
Also known as, no. Previously
Doing
known as?
business as.
PKA? It might be PKA. You have to write PKA on the back, and then you don't necessarily have to sign, but you have to write the name that was on the front of the check. And then so that's how that's done legally, I guess. So I don't know if all banks would necessarily do it that way, that's how Wells Fargo handled it. And now I have that money, and I almost bought a $700 push purse yesterday, but I did not. There's still a fair chance I'll do that tomorrow. But anyway.
I may not talk to
I don't even
Unless
like
you let
push
me borrow
purses,
it.
but there's a mustard one that's
Of
like,
course. It's unless you don't.
yeah, it's yellow, and it is so hot. And it's
Get a-
leather lined, so it's literally leather, full leather, inside and out, with a little loop handle. It is, and a big flap for the cover. It is literally the awesomest thing ever.
You'd be better off getting a framed picture of David Beckham hanging on your wall.
You have one. No.
The temptation.
Don't tempt me.
But I
Why
mean,
not
if
both?
If you think about it, a $700 mustard yellow Coach purse.
Worth it.
That
No.
is literally, if you look it up in
It
Webster's,
speaks for
that's the
itself.
definition of happiness.
Yeah.
It says $700 mustard push purse.
It
Look
might-
it up
It
on your
might
phone.
have to do with orange, but yeah, I'm the same.
Like,
I'd go for
Okay.
orange.
so anyway, so
Oh.
I was really stressed, and now I'm rich. I'm kidding, I'm not rich. They gave me a very, very small portion of this $2-3 million whatever sale that they
Can I ask
probably
you
just
how you
made.
felt? Like
Huh?
inside, how you felt?
So, I really, if I had gotten nothing, I would have been fine. They did send me a letter with a box a little while ago after my sister had texted me this, saying, FYI, we're selling the farm, this is some stuff you're taking home. And if I had never gotten another follow-up letter from them or a check or anything like that, I would have been fine. I half expected maybe to get something, but not a big deal. The amount wasn't that big of a deal, even though I thought, wow, that's really a minuscule amount. The big deal was the name. But to me, I have to admit that looking back on it now, after it's been a couple of days, 3 days or whatever it's been, I never have given them a ton of information about my transition. Now, I'm not saying that that is something that I did wrong. I'm not saying that at all. Because every time it's brought up, then there's an argument started that I can't win and that I have no desire to win. Because I don't care whether I'm right or not. I don't care about winning an argument. I don't care about proving anything. I care about mental and physical health. And that's what I've achieved. So, I've never told them that I legally changed my name, like I said.
Did they get the check?
No, I don't think they'll ever see anything really from, I mean, at most the bank would send them something. I highly doubt it though. I don't see any need for it. It was signed out correctly. They did everything legally from their standpoint.
Well,
If they did, that's fine too, but I highly doubt that would be a thing.
Well, I mean, usually with checking accounts, you have some ability to see what was, get a copy of the checks.
Yeah, I know nowadays, like, at least with Wells Fargo, you can look
See
up
the
your
picture.
account online and click on the check and see a
Yeah, see
copy
how
of
it
the
was
cashed
signed.
check. So, I mean, they could do that if they were so inclined.
You don't see the back of it.
You can.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can flip it
What do
over
you do?
by hitting the button. Well, once again, Wells Fargo. I don't know about other banks. Wells Fargo, yes, it shows you a picture of both sides of the check.
But usually people
But do
don't
I
like-
care? Looking back, do I care? No, I don't. I don't. I feel a tinge of guilt of having never told my parents that I changed my name illegally. But once again, it's me caring too much about not wanting to hurt others. And in turn hurting myself. I'm hurting myself because there's so many things that I want to tell my parents, but I don't do it because I want to hurt them. But yet it sticks in my gut instead. Is that helping me? No, not really. So it's a conundrum, but it caused a lot of stress this week because I didn't share that information from them. And this is something that I've always done with my parents and my family my entire life. It is probably one of my few regrets that I still hold on to. Because when I was a kid, I very much didn't tell them much about myself. Not just about gender, but in general, I would hold things back from them anytime that I thought they would get angry or that I would hurt them. And there were a lot of things that I thought they would be angry about or that would hurt them, specifically the gender stuff, but other things as well. And that I don't think that, from the conversations I've had with them over my period of life up until I was 35 or whatever, I always got the feeling when we would discuss something afterwards that I withheld from them, that they didn't see it the same way I saw it. They didn't see it as me saving them any pain. They were just frustrated that I couldn't be honest with them. And I get that. I do. I get that. And I do feel for them in that way. Doesn't mean it's okay for them to feel the way that they do. Granted, two wrongs don't make a right. But what? You are such a screwball. God, I love you. Gonna use that. But it did give me a little guilty feeling this week. Like, I guess I could have told them I changed my name legally. But in the grand scheme of things, should I have? Pass it around. Do you think I should have? At some point. Whether or not this check happened or would have happened, just in general,
Personally, yes.
should I have sent them a letter saying, FYI, I don't have your name anymore. Yeah,
You still have the last name,
I do.
so you didn't lose.
And
all
I
of it.
changed my name to the feminine form. Because I
So,
just,
really,
Everyone's got
you
attachment.
still have the attachment. And the reason you changed your name is to more or less fit your gender identity. So, to me, I always thought, and you've always been fairly close, that I think you should have. One of the things I did just before I came out to the world was give me a ring and went to talk to my mom and dad. Before that, I didn't talk to them for almost 10.5 years because at my daughter's wedding, my dad got in my face literally as we were lining up for the wedding, and they could never forgive him for that. But for me to move forward, I had to make sure that I could at least talk to them and tell them what was going on and what I was doing. Now, all things being different, they are. Your situation and my situation are totally different. But at least now I have the peace of mind of knowing that my mom and dad do before the rest of anyone in the world knows. At least they do. And I know you tried to say something through letters, and I know it didn't work. I know that was been very, very hard for you, and very, or you want to cry. I know that. But that's my opinion, and like assholes everybody asks me. You know, it doesn't, the one thing in this trans movement, you find that a lot of people have a lot of situations that everybody has different ways of getting to where we need to go, but we all have issues that we need to deal with. And that's not just and family is about one of the closest. And you, of course, you're just your mom and dad. Me as my wife. So,
Anybody else have any feedback on that or a similar situation?
Is it something actually that you're looking at now in hindsight? Would you be willing to try to contact them to give them that information now?
I'd be willing to think
Kind
about
of a
it.
moving forward, kind of a discussion that, I received this is what it was. I know I didn't tell you this in the past, but, just kind of showing that this is something to talk about.
I've been thinking about that.
My thought is, would give you more clarity now on, let's say, your relationship with them. If you responded back, just from the standpoint
Also,
of,
that's probably what, me considering it is I don't want to respond to that.
because I guess I was looking at from the standpoint of whether they would accept it. If they would finally understand what that you have actually transitioned.
I thought my dad was gonna bounce me out of the house, because my dad is very anti-everything. I was really surprised when he just looked at me and says, "Why do you give a shit about other people?" It's you.
What I have to say, I guess, is like, I guess they are your parents, and you should tell them, but why would you anyway? Because I feel like from what I heard, they wouldn't acknowledge it anyway, and they would just keep going on with the way they wanted you to be anyways. So like, if you told them beforehand, would they still write the check the way they wanted to write the check? Or would they?
Still would have,
Yeah. So like, my mom will always be my mom, no matter what she did. She couldn't kill my cat. I don't know if I should forgive her, but I'll always love her no matter what she does. And like, I guess that could be the same for you, but no matter what, they wouldn't acknowledge it either way.
I feel like it just adds to the thing.
Yeah.
Well, the point I wanted to bring up is they knew you were going through transition. There's been letters.
We talked about the hormones.
Yep, I mean, all that has come up, and not at any point did they even consider asking. are you going to change your name? And that shows that disconnect, that they either don't wanna know or don't care. And I know that that probably hurts more than anything, but, I mean, you and I had discussed similar parental issues, not on obviously the same topic, but how it's so detrimental. Would reaching out to say, you know, even something along the lines of, I appreciate the check, I was able to cash it, so you know my name is no longer, my name is Brian. And, you know, would it be harder for you emotionally, especially if it wasn't well received? That's my fear. That's the first thing that came into my head, is if you did try, how would that affect you and the progress and the journey and everything that you've overcome and come through to be the amazing person that you are? Would that affect you negatively?
It would, because every time that I've written them a letter in the past, divulging any of this type of information, I've always waited every day when I go to the mailbox. I expect to get this letter of crap. And eventually that letter comes. And, you know, in a way I wish I could just will it to come the very next day so I could be over it. Because every day I have this sort of hit
Anxiety.
in the bottom of my stomach as I walk up to the mailbox to get the mail, expecting to see this crappy letter. And that's what would happen. The second I sent them a letter with that type of explanation, I'd be waiting for that response. And that waiting period of time
It can be.
causes extra stress. Which is what we're talking about tonight, which is why this fit in well.
Could you go to their house?
No,
Could you
it wouldn't be invited. If they would be interested, I don't know what they'd be interested. I'd say that's my sister, if she would be interested.
I just thought maybe it would be. I really miss you. I'd really like to see you.
But I don't want to see them.
Well, if you don't want to see
And I
me,
do expect them to say no to that.
so then I guess I wouldn't
I
put
don't think that's
yourself.
a good option.
Then I wouldn't put yourself in a vulnerable situation.
Mhm.
I mean, if it's a no-win situation, no, then no. But I can tell every time we talk about your family, how close you really are to them, and how much it tears you up inside. And that even puts me out because I know what they're going through because I'm going through some of the same issues.
And I'll agree with Amy too, because this is that in that I know when I got my name changed, I'd hoped that my parents would come around enough to be able to come to the courthouse, and they were nowhere close to it. I didn't even tell them I was doing it, and I did feel kind of bad about that because they found out a couple of days later, I think through I can't remember who, and like, oh, so we heard you change your name. It's like, ah, God. So in that case, I mean, I had this sense of regret for not having told them I was doing it, especially because they found out about it anyway, but they weren't ready to hear it. So the regret really wasn't that I didn't tell them, it's that they weren't ready to hear it. And I mean, this is a two-way street. That, yeah, you've got some obligation to tell them stuff, but you've tried. They have to be giving in some way in order to, you can't just dump everything on them. You can't be expected to dump everything on them, especially if they're going to react poorly. If they want to know what's happening with you, they have to show some interest. And they have to show some level of understanding. And until they do, I don't think you've got really any obligation. You can tell them what you think you want to, given their situation. And some of it you'll get right, some of it you get wrong, but who knows better than you, which is what you should tell them, what you shouldn't, what you should wait for. So don't second guess yourself too much. You're doing the best you can with a really crappy hand that you were dealt.
Can you take a minute and talk about the website first?
Sure. So the website, changes that I've done with the website. We changed the name of it, so I've sent out an email, so if any of you, oh yeah, that's right, if any of you are not on the email list and want to be on it, fill it out on one of these pieces of paper and send it over my way. But we changed the address of it. It used to be Minnesota Transgender Alliance.weebly.com, and we changed it to
Whatever you want to call it. What would you call Weebly?
provider. Yeah, provider and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we changed it to just be Minnesota Transgender Alliance.com. So just got rid of the Weebly thing. If you type in the old address, it still redirects right away to the new one. And one of the reasons we did that was because we thought it just looked more professional. And then also started filling out some of the search engine optimization data for it, and then also registered with Google. And I'll do with some of the other search engines next, but I wanted to do with Google first. So that way now when we do, because it was one of the concerns that Brianna had, is that if you do a search for us, it didn't really come up. The Facebook page would, but not the website itself. So with that, it's not really worth having a website if no one can find it. So that's one of the things that we did in order to make that more, make it be more findable. And now if you do type into a search Minnesota Transgender Alliance, it comes up and it's almost right at the top. Some of the other keyword searches I did for it weren't as successful, so I'll try to investigate more of what we can do around linking and search words in order to be able to get it to have better results when we search for some of the other related terms like Minnesota Support Group, Transgender Support Group, things like that.
Have you noticed? Have you looked at the data to see if there was any spike?
I haven't, because the Google Analytics are a few days behind, so I haven't been able to see that. And then the Weebly has its own, but those reset when we changed it. So we should be able to see something fairly soon to see if it's trending in a different direction.
So we should also go on there just to make sure that it comes up, and also,
Yeah,
keep
you
us
guys
on
get a
more,
chance.
making sure that we, if you use it, you
Mhm.
become more visible.
Right.
And more, Google is good for that. They want to make
Mhm.
sure that.
And if you refer to, like, if you're going to come to this thing, I know that if on Facebook, if you're on our Facebook page and you click that you're going to something, if you make a comment about it, just try to include the web address, because I know that links to websites help generate some of the results for Google. So that's the bigger thing too. That's one of the ways that they measure traffic to it, is how many links there are to websites, and within websites too. But that's more complex.
Thank you. I mean, as you guys know, our agenda, we hear this from conservatives all the time, our agenda is to take over the world.
Mhm.
So you need to all do your part in order for that to happen.
Right.
So get on the stick so that we can fulfill our agenda sooner than
Mhm.
later. Thank you.
To convert everyone into a trans person.
Well,
That's our ultimate goal.
As we've discussed today,
More links
it
and
is
more
basically the funnest process that you could ever go through in life.
as you
Right.
can see,
No stress.
We wish this upon nobody, but yet everyone thinks it's fun and games, and it's like, really? It's not. Did you have anything to comment?
Yeah, first of all, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, and second of all, thank you for coming. And again, if you want cookies or coffee. But I noticed there was a few times that you started to jump in and you really decided to back off, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak, because everybody here should feel welcome, and it's a safe environment to go to, and you don't bite much, except for Amy does just a little.
Just a little bit.
Only a little bit.
Thank you, Diane.
Wait, when was this decided?
At the beginning of the meeting.
You ran up to.
You ran up to go let somebody in. I said, you can sit here, I don't bite.
And then we all
Hard.
disagree with that. Thank you.
Sorry, you're.
But you've been safe so far, so I think you're gonna make it through.
We had cookies, so good for you.
Yeah, I stopped for cookies and no one's getting them last time I.
I had one, and I never had the cookies.
Thankfully, because of Diane, Amy's not biting.
She's able to
I
bake
am
cookies instead.
chewing on my straw.
Well, oddly enough, our discussions have been going right almost how I have them laid out here, because the other one I was gonna do is isolation, which we've just kind of talked about. So, did you have anything you'd like to add, or comments you'd like to make about anything we've talked about tonight?
Basically, just what I do on a daily basis.
Okay.
Kind of not our family wise. My family, my dad's side is very religious. My dad and my parents are okay with the whole gay part, but the transition part, is hard for them. And I go to an appointment on November know anything about it yet. So, like, only a couple people know.
It's like once you start growing a beard, you're like, oh,
Yo.
by the way.
And, you know, I have a trans fiance too as well, and he's been on it long enough. He's been on it for 9 months, so he's doing pretty well. And his parents are okay with it, but when it comes to mine, they like misgendered him, they misgendered me, and it's like, I just don't like, and being adopted as well, just kind of, and coming from a mother who wasn't really around, kind of throws that off.
Well, you're welcome. And
Amy.
I'm adopted. That sucks.
So your parents are not yet on board, is that right?
Yeah, my adoptive parents aren't on board, and my adoptive parent, my adoptive mother and grandmother and brother and sister are on board, but they still look at me as their sister and their daughter. I respect that, but that's not what I want to, be as your daughter or your sister. And it's like, well, what do I have to do to, make you guys understand? And they're like totally fine with my, they were totally fine with like my fiance being trans. When it comes to me, it's like, so it's like nobody's on board with it. And then I have like a couple of trans friends at work, which they're all cool with it. And, but it's like when I start, it's like it's gonna be hard for me to work. It's gonna be hard for my friends and family. So it's like I'm kind of stuck.
But on the other hand, you're not trans because you're your friends.
No, I'm trans because it's
Because of you.
me. Yeah.
The other thing is, your fiance is welcome here.
Yeah.
Just to make sure,
Yeah.
you know that.
Yeah.
This is all on board for
Yeah.
that. I've been the only female to male for like about a year now.
Yeah.
Except for Shane.
Well, he's in college at U of M Morris right now, and he won't come back till October 18th to the 23rd. And I was like,
We're not
He's
even that
like-
age.
It's not.
No, 22nd.
dang.
Darn.
Because last week we used a web conference to have someone
Yeah.
join. Do you think you'd be interested in that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because he really I told him about it. He's like, oh, I'm so happy for you. I hope you meet cool people. I was like, I wish I could be there. I was like, maybe you can. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do
Yeah.
the same thing like this web conference, and then, and if they want to kind of catch up, there's a couple, and I know you hate catch up. But,
Different catch-up.
Catch up.
You can get, if you can get that from Liz, and Liz would probably be more than willing to arrange something to make sure that this is out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's also, you posted last
Yeah,
meetings.
yeah. If you go to our website,
Yeah.
under resources, you'll see not last week, the week before last sessions out there.
Yep, I saw that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of stuck in a world that.
But we're all stuck in that world. If you're
Yep.
finding out, you're not the only one.
Mhm.
And that's why this group is so important. And the other reason it's so important is we can help by bringing people the right information and not wrong information. We do our research. We get professionals. We find out where they're going to meet. We go out of our way to offer, a lot of information that's coming from the people who do stuff instead of just what's out there. And that's what's really important about our group.
And we are on board.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is an amazing group of ladies, honestly. I don't know where Max
And
would
guys.
be.
And guys,
Let me finish my sentence. I don't know where Max would be.
Not that I love him.
these. Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
But I was talking, well,
And my cat.
he's not much use himself. And we wait to get hit. What the fuck?
Are you at home or?
I moved out of my parents. I just moved back in with my parents just this last February. I lived with a family friend, but now I am living with my parents. And when my fiance comes, they confuse him with her, so they use she pronouns, and he gets really upset. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're just not on board with the whole, yeah. again. I'm trying to think of the word.
Where do you work?
I work at Savers and Community.
Okay.
I've been there. Oh my god, right when you get 50% off everything in the store? It's oh my god.
Wait, how?
Discounts.
16?
Yeah, you got a whole nother year.
Yeah. And I'll be 21, so I'm just like, okay, let's go.
Well, anyway, getting back on topic.
Off topic, sorry. It's a,
All the topics are good topics.
Mhm.
We can get sidetracked a little bit, that's
Wait,
fine.
don't we end?
We have forever
4
to
minutes?
cover all the topics, literally, because we're gonna be here forever. We're never going away.
We never go over.
Yeah, we've never ever
Never
gone
go
past
over. I
just got done
7:31.
saying
If we do
always
today,
go
it'll be the
over on
first time
time.
ever.
I'll just wonder what.
Well, the next one was isolation, which we've already kind of covered throughout the night, haven't we?
Yeah, we covered.
Isolation?
Isolation.
Specifically, we did.
Yeah, not specifically. I mean, we glanced at it. We should cover directly in case there's more comments, because I've got one.
Yeah, I agree. Well, isolation or feeling of isolation, I think happens with almost all of us. Where you feel alone, you feel like there's no one understanding, you feel like there's not no one understanding,
I'm so sorry.
and you're not on anything right now, are you? You're not on really testosterone,
No.
yet you're already beating.
He's on something, he's got all this
yeah,
liquid in
let
his
me make the other arm.
body,
Let me make the other arm.
cancerous material running through
Oh, I'm
his
gonna have a
veins.
giant bruise tomorrow. Dead arm. Oh.
What's gonna happen to these things?
I
Well,
know.
yeah, what's gonna happen? I mean,
We don't know,
We're
and Corinne and I are
super
scared
scared.
Can we
shitless.
bring in something that's like something for Max
no,
to
no, no,
hit?
no. Watch my back. I love you too.
They have this thing called internet.
What the hell? I don't even get that angry.
Just
Yeah.
you
Just
just
got a
like
new
beat
tattoo
the
tonight, right on her arm. We've seen it.
the whole room.
Okay,
sucked.
but
I heard it. I'm like,
my doctor said that they'll put me on patches so it's even amount of tests.
Yes, there are options
Yeah,
for
what is-
better for better displacement instead of a
Sure.
weekly shot. It could be a like 10-week shot, so you get it every 10 weeks,
Mm.
or like the under the skin.
Oh no.
Or what was another one?
Huh?
The patches.
Pill
the
patch.
gel.
Yeah,
Squirt.
which one's
Pill pack squirt.
I
You
don't
can
know
get
if
up
that
the
one
poop
was
hole.
offered, but
You can get it up
Yeah.
the butt.
yeah.
I don't
Just so
want it up-
everyone's aware.
Just like with estrogen, you can get it in those three forms.
But yeah, it,
The patch,
considering
the patch is really the best for, I think, both.
and it gives more
yeah.
of an even, so you don't have the extreme high, and then you're gonna giant.
I
Hulk out
don't like the
everyone.
needle. Like, I have 8 tattoos and I don't want to do a testosterone because my fiance's got them and they're like this big. I'm like,
Are you on T yet?
no,
Yeah,
I
no,
I
okay.
no, I haven't. I go see a lady and that's from Spring Lake Park, St. Louis
Okay.
Park.
She's
at
Dr. Farias.
Oh my god.
Max, shush.
She made me
This is a place
upset.
to share information.
But this is also,
Not his frustration.
Okay, but this chick was like, you don't need hormone blockers. We're not going to do that. That's not the path for you. Second appointment, she's like, I think this might be the path for you. I'm just like, but we just wasted like 5 months.
He was.
I was,
Oh, fantastic, good job.
it was like, we drove 45 minutes to go see her for like literally 5 minutes. And then we walked out. I was like, I'm doing this, and she's just sitting there. And then she's like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna give it to you. See you later. I was like,
Well, and what was the worst part is you could tell how much she wanted to.
no, I don't think
Your mom and I both saw it on her face. But because of the height growth, she legally couldn't.
They can't.
They can't.
Yeah, I know. Not at my body.
I'm only 5'2", like
Yeah, but you're almost 21, you're done growing. She's not even 15 yet.
Okay, well,
But so because he's a minor, there's so many more stipulations and legalities, and it's lots and lots of
Okay,
icky red
Maybe a
tape.
topic.
what?
I think that's a topic.
I think that's a really good topic.
Oh,
That's a pseudo run immunity again.
This time I promise I'll be here.
Who
And I will
can we
help
bring
you.
in? If not
That doctor.
that guy. Should we work on that?
Then we could
doctor?
grill her.
Try bringing her in. She's your best friend, you
Max
said,
will
right?
run, I'm pretty sure
We
he's
go
on
Max.
I'm
I'm
just
just like-
thankful that Max didn't try to punch her.
I was so angry. Like, you can't just sit there and be like, this is not the step. You look short as fuck. You ain't going there. And then, sorry. And
I
then
can't take him anywhere. I am so sorry.
I
And then
can't, I
she's-
can't take mine anywhere either, it's okay.
And then, like, to just turn around and be like, actually, this is the right path for you. I think this is where we're going. It's just like, 5 months. Down the drain. There we go.
But
Dang, man.
you accomplished so much in those 5 months.
I don't care. I don't care.
5 months in the scheme of your 83-year-old 3 years of life or whatever you're gonna live to is nothing.
It's a lot.
It's a drop in the bucket. And when I was your age and people told me that, I wanted to kill them. So if you want to kill me, it's fine. But they were right.
You gotta
And
hop over
now,
the tapes first.
now that I'm super old, I am right. And then when you get old, you can be right. And you can tell other people, and then they can get pissed off at you.
No, just like watch. I
the
won't go
cycle.
the whole time until the appointment, and then right before the appointment, I'm gonna like drink a cup of milk, and then I'm just gonna be like 6 foot and be like, sorry.
You come from a long line of hobbits. It's not gonna happen. His mother is like 5'2". I'm
Yeah.
just
So
is
sorry,
mine.
I'm angry.
They told me I was gonna be
Don't
6
be
foot
sorry
when I
for
was a
anything.
baby, and now look, I'm only 5'2". What happened? It's depressing.
We can look into that for you,
I
though,
like
Max.
look
Or you
into
think that
what?
would be a good topic,
Growth
though?
spurt.
I think that would be a really good topic. Some of the like legal debate behind starting your transition.
You know what sucks though? Having to work and my work does not have a family bathroom. Because I don't, you know how awkward that is? Okay, you know how awkward that is?
What?
Okay, my work does not have a family bathroom. I know.
Okay, but you know what's awkward? Going to the nails using your STP, but ending up peeing on yourself.
I hate
So like, let's.
Well, I was using the nails before I came out, and I was always using stuff.
But like at work, yeah, like some old ladies like come up to me and say sir, and then they switch to ma'am. I'm like,
You were right the first
you were
time.
right the first time.
First
You
impression was
still
right
could-
this
You
time.
could say that.
Well,
No,
yeah, but I
ma'am
don't
is the
want to
right-
like
or
be rude.
Sir is the you know.
I'm not a very rude person. Well, you can
That's not
tell,
rude.
but I'm
How
not
do
being
you say
rude.
it?
Correcting him nicely.
Right.
Don't talk like Max. Don't speak.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
speaking of that,
I've been there.
I was on the phone today with some lady, and she said miss, and I just didn't even give her my name.
Well, okay.
I was like,
Wow.
how on earth?
That's
Nobody
good.
thinks I'm a chick on the phone.
I
This
noticed
chick
this
Don't
on.
believe it.
They think I'm a chick too because my voice. I'm like,
You have to slowly tell me.
Actually, hormones will help
Yes.
with that.
yeah.
All
Because
trans males I know actually had a voice change
drop, yeah.
because of it. It's just us chicks that get screwed.
It
Yeah,
can
my
with,
fiance's got it. His
I-
voice went like
Except for I don't
rises.
actually literally ever eat.
Alright, now I want to.
hormone blockers can do that too. Because I asked about it yesterday.
I put up today.
But
Actually,
Brianna, like when you're in
Story.
public talking to random people, you like go from like your normal voice to like the customer voice. You're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I try, but I don't always think about it, and I don't really care a whole lot. So
Take a picture of it or write it down.
Yeah. I'll take
That's
a
been
picture.
fun noticing other parents and teachers
We're
and
trying
stuff
to get her
in
in
dance
here.
groups.
Liz is working on that.
Or going to
I helped
like
working on that, but when
there's
she's
some
ready
like
to put
art
something
festival
together, she would
and just see
email me.
those.
Way too high.
Who's
No much
having-
caffeine for
You
you.
know,
Yeah.
I didn't. I would say we should try that in another month if we haven't heard from her. Huh?
Maybe we should.
And then can I get the like thing for like the
Oh.
stuff?
Yeah.
Oh hey. Oh.
Write down your email, right?
Yeah. Email.
Shoot, mine or his?
Both.
Both.
Both? Oh crap.
And then if either one of you want to get off the list, just let me know. Just respond and say, take me off.
Dang it, I got
we still didn't make it through this, did we?
Nope.
Well, it's alright
I'll
next
try.
time.
One thing, I was gonna say one thing before we left the questioning part. I can remember, I know, I thought you said back or whatever. And one thing that I guess, I think if you, I don't know if we're questioning ourselves, is that not, you know, what we're doing is not questioning that we're doing right. It's because how we're being treated by society makes you start questioning.
Or those around you,
Right.
like your family, your friends.
Yeah, so sometimes you have tough days and it's literally a response to those difficulties. You know what I mean? It's a mental
Right.
response, like,
I know I'm right.
life would have been easier had I not done this. And then I quickly remember that I was a binge drinker, and I was like, wait, never mind. Never mind, no, it wasn't.
I think it falls into play though, that I always think, you know, it's the grass is greener on the other side of the fence.
That's
Once
because you're
once
looking at it
you're
at an
not-
angle. You're not straight
That
down.
is true.
Because they spray painted it.
That's true. Or maybe got artificial turf.
And it could be greener, but is the grass happy?
Exactly, and that's what I mean, we can forget how
If it's
bad
greener, it's
sometimes
happy.
Maybe
things
it's
work.
green with envy.
That was a good one.
Oh, we are clever.
No, and another part, I know we didn't talk about that, we did talk a little bit about the isolation part, but we didn't talk about it as a complete topic. But one thing that, I mean, I've read a lot of people who are just online who say that they barely leave the house, they're really lacking in friends. And I think that it's really great that this group gets together because this can help avoid some of that. Because there's a lot of people who, especially in some of the in-between stages, just feel like they can't get on with people. They're not being accepted. And so having something like this makes this much better for us.
Let's, the person who's online, and see if there's any voice therapy in their area.
Oh, okay.
They would be able
Mhm.
to contact there, and they might be able to steer them in the right direction.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
talk about isolation a little bit at the next meeting.
We can do
Because I had a
that.
couple other things too
It was
about isolation that I wanted
isolation,
to
the
talk
next
about
ones I had
actually.
was isolation, depression, and where to turn for
Oh, I
help.
hate that. Sorry,
See-
depression just randomly like popped up.
But see, everybody has.
That's another hour and a half worth.
Yeah, and where to turn
Probably.
for help, you know, that's another key.
Yeah.
Who can you rely on? What's your plan if you do go into depression? You know, and these are all topics. So, you know, it's definitely, I don't know if we want to do it next time or if we want to just kind of switch gears and take it on at another time. But we're out of time almost again, so.
We're kind of time. It's go eat time.
Yay!
And Eli,
Yeah.
you're new, would you like to suggest a place to eat?
Oh dang.
We go anywhere from, if you don't have to, Max is good at it, or anyone.
No,
else.
don't make Max Pigs again.
Well, I gotta go to Valley Scare, so I probably can't this one. Probably the
Okay.
next one. I'll pick the next one.
You know, we've been to
We'll hold you to it.
Broadway, we've
Alright.
been to,
I get paid next time.
okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, they
Oh,
We
no,
go there
no,
all the
Tuesdays.
time.
yeah, but they're friendly to us.
Yeah, but Max never
They've never
eats
kicked us
anything
out.
there. He always throws it away. It's too greasy.
You really, yeah, you already played with this food there. I
You
know.
know.
It's that next week.
Plus, you have to work
We've
today.
been to Applebee's, we've been to.
I decided yet.
Perkins, we've been
If I had
to-
enough energy or not.
You know, so,
I gotta go to Applebee's on
I made $100 last night.
It's my birthday.
which
But I
also,
probably won't have time to tomorrow, so yeah, I might for a little while.
which also reminds me is, my birthday will be, my second birthday will be in this coming week, or next week.
My
The
birthday's
28th.
this week. Or
Meaning, my
Thursday.
second birthday, meaning when I finally came out to the world legally. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be a kinda cool. My mom sent me a birthday card on
Aww,
it as my second birthday.
that's so awesome.
I don't even know what mine would be. Never compared. I had 4 though.
Well, I thought it was kinda neat to get something.
Yeah, that is.
Don't fall now.
I have to get the corny comment in here that there is a real Super Bowl atmosphere in here with Peyton
Thanks.
and Eli sitting next to each other.
What about me? I'm so confused. Say what?
Yeah,
Eli
well,
and
Peyton and
Amy were
Eli.
sitting
Oh.
Yeah, the ratings of NFL fame, you know, Super Bowl rings and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah. That's all.
It's all good.
Eli, did you see I have a card for you?
Yes, it's in my pocket. I had it. Ow.
So she does.
Okay, Lisa, gonna hang up now. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll miss
Bye.
you.
Yep, she's now.
Oh.
Okay.
But she heard you all.